Order, order. Hello and welcome to another episode of Reporters Without Orders, where we discuss what made news, what didn't, and some things that absolutely shouldn't have. Joining me in the studio today are two of my colleagues, Nidhi and Shiv, to talk about their stories from different corners of Delhi. Nidhi, of course, just did a story last week on allegations of assault against police constables by transgender people in a trust in West Delhi. And Shiv reported on rumblings within one of the most elite clubs in Delhi, the Gymkhana Club, of course. Good morning.
Hi, Ayush.
Hi, good
Hi,
morning.
Nidhi.
Good morning,
It's
Shiv.
indeed a good morning for me.
I'll come to that. I won't spare him. But you tell me,
Mm.
what have you been doing besides looking at Ranveer Singh's pictures?
Not much, really.
Yeah?
Not much other than that. And looking at the fascinating debates happening about
Yeah.
his bum being exposed.
Yeah, tell us about that. We were just watching that video. It was
Yeah.
very funny.
Yeah, so Nidhi Razdan was hosting this debate on NDTV,
Yeah.
where obviously this woman who's filed an FIR against Ranveer Singh showing his Ranveer Singh being naked.
Right.
And she said that it's hurting her sentiments, and Nidhi Razdan very seriously asks her, why does it hurt your sentiments? And
Yeah.
she says, he's showing his bum. if it's not a public service, what is it?
Yeah.
You tell me, Ayush.
Yeah. And the
Have you enjoyed the photos?
I thought that he has a great body and it's something to aspire to.
You,
Yeah.
Shiv?
I second him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
but
I don't think so.
such
There is
shy
anything.
boy.
No, I don't think there is anything wrong in the photo, yaar. I think.
Yeah.
No, I don't think there's
It's
anything
not.
wrong in the photo.
Yeah. It's like, but in India, you'd have some
Maybe it's
people who
another way
will
of
create a circus around
Expressing
it.
art, I don't know.
What did you guys
That's how
think
I
of the
see
whole
it.
debate that sort of started where they were like, oh, if a woman had done this,
Mhm.
it would be a completely different reaction.
Yeah, I'm sure. And some people actually used pictures of Indians,
Gupta.
Indian models, female models, and comments on their Instagram posts and comments on Ranveer Singh's pictures, and you could see the contrast.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is true. But I think the sort of attention it's getting, especially the part where he's been booked, is a little too much because there are
Yeah.
always some people. But I think overall everyone liked it, right? Right, Tehreem? Right, Jude? Okay, they are both nodding vigorously. I'm joking. Shiv, good morning.
Good morning.
Did you sleep well?
Very well, I think.
Okay.
Give context.
Arey yaar, we've been in the studio since 11:30 waiting
Thank
for
you.
Shiv, and he arrived at 12. But that he arrived is,
I'm so sorry, guys, for
it's
keeping
fine.
you
It's
waiting.
fine.
She was like, how many times
Happens.
should I apologize?
Yeah, no, you should always apologize once on record. But guys, moving on to your stories, Nidhi, you were in West Delhi in this locality called Sitapuri with Jude, and you guys did a story on this one trust called the Myth Trust in
Yeah.
Sitapuri, where you have this footage from last Friday from 12 at night, where 3 police officials walk into the NGO. They take one person from there to the police station, and then something very sinister unfolds. So just tell us, first of all, what the story is briefly, and then we'll talk about how you got the lead and everything.
So this particular story is about an assault that happened, an alleged assault that happened in a police station in Delhi on 22nd of July, on the night of 22nd of July. This is located in Sitapuri area in Mitra Trust, which is a shelter home which falls under a scheme called Garima Griha, which was started by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment this particular year. So the idea is to create shelter homes for transgender people to come and seek some amount of safety, a non-judgmental safe space where they can also get access to amenities like food, water, shelter, along with skill training. So a lot of the people who do come there are usually people who have either been begging on the street or were doing sex work and don't want to do that anymore, or have been rejected by their families and have had nowhere to go. A few days before this alleged assault, a person named Aditya, a transgender man, had walked into the home. He'd actually known of the Mitra Trust because someone who knew him and actually saw him roaming around the railway station in Delhi had called Rudrani Chetri, who is the founder of this particular place, and said that there is a transgender man looking for shelter. He's from UP. So he comes to the home and seeks shelter. And according to the people we spoke to there, he was immediately almost feeling, there was a sense of safety. He felt like, he'd finally found a space for him to be at. And he also apparently told them that he had been under house arrest for 2.5 years and he was tortured at home and he had to leave home to come and seek this safe space. Now, on the night of 22nd July, we saw CCTV footage where we see 4 police officers, 3 men and 1 woman, who come to the house, come to the shelter home. You see them, knocking on the door, and we've pieced together what happened from this footage and people talking. So apparently they knocked on the door. It was around midnight. There was one person who was there at that point, Bella. This is a transgender woman. She was there. She opened the door and she asked, what happened. And they said they came looking for Aditya, this transgender man who had come to the home a few days prior. And she then says that, why do you want to look for him? He's come here on his own will. Also, the home only allows people who are above the age of 18. So there's no minors there. So everyone who's come has come on their own will. They also stay for only 1 year. Once they have some amount of, they're on their feet and they can do some sort of work, they leave the home to make space for others. And at a time, there's about 20 of them in the home. So the police comes in, looks for Aditya, and then they tell him that he has to come with them to the police station. Now, this is according to people at the home. They said they tried to ask for identification and ask them where they're coming from. And they said they are from UP Police and Dabri Police Station. Dabri Police Station is located about 100-200 meters away from the Mitra home itself. And immediately after that, they tell him he has to come to the station. He says he doesn't want to. And they kind of ask permission to write the statement there itself. Basically, they told that a missing complaint has been filed against him by his parents and they need to take him back home.
And in your story, one of the people at the trust make the allegation that the police even told them that your family is downstairs waiting for you. Right.
Yeah. So when he refused to sort of come to the police station, because they're also, we have to remember, they're a community that has been used to some amount of police harassment, societal harassment. So they are also very skeptical of, going along with the police.
That too at 12
at 12 in the night.
Yeah.
I mean, the police could have just waited a few hours to come in the morning when things might have been calmer.
Right.
But then they tell Aditya that his father is standing, down the street and he should go and meet him. So at this point, Aditya agrees, allegedly, from what we know, and he goes with the police. And right as soon as he leaves, Bella, who was sort of talking to the police, she is someone who had lived in the home for a year and then, had moved out, but she was there that night.
Right.
She took some initiative and she said, actually, let's all go to the police station.
Mm-hmm.
So she then tells me that she actually took with her 2 transgender men to sensitize the police, to show them that, this is how it is, and, we fall under the scheme of the ministry and we are not sex workers and all of that. She thought, she might be able to talk to the police if she took them along. So I think about 6 of them went immediately to the police station, which, like I said, is just a few steps away from the home. Now, she said as soon as they reached there, they saw Aditya in a private vehicle, not a police vehicle, sort of being driven away.
Right.
And Bella claims that she sort of heard him scream out for her and, wanting to not go with the police, basically.
Right.
So they reached the police station. So from here, they said that they kind of talked to the police and asked them, either tell us where you're taking Aditya or give us some sort of written statement from him that he is okay to go with the police, that this is happening as per his own will.
Right.
But none of that happens. And at this point, according to the people we spoke to, Bella, the police sort of start getting aggressive with them. And that's when the alleged assault takes place, where they are beaten. There's another person, Sia, a transgender woman, who claimed that, the police sort of strangled her, touched her breasts and assaulted her in a very uncomfortable sexual manner. and said some very nasty things based on their identity. After which they sort of managed to escape. At one point, Bella also said that, police were beating her up and telling her either you escape now or we will kill you. And they say they managed to get back to the home, the Mitra Trust, and from there they made a call to the PCR saying this has happened. The van comes, takes them to Deen Dayal Upadhyay Hospital, where they're given first aid, and you can see their injuries. They have a swollen elbow. You can see lathi marks across their body.
And in your video story, you interviewed extensively both Sia and Bella, and they show scars on their arm and the legs. Yeah.
So then they come back to the home, and that's when they were at the at the hospital, Rudrani Shetri, the founder, she manages to reach there, and she does a Facebook Live, which is how everyone got to know about the story. And from the Facebook Live, lawyers reached out, said that we can help you out, and from there it becomes like they were in the process when we met them, in the process of filing an FIR at the Dabri police station, saying that this sort of assault has happened.
So, and this happened on the 22nd, and I remember your story is dated 23rd July. So just for the listeners who might be curious, can you tell us, how does a reporter, something happens in one corner of Delhi and you're here, how does a reporter get to know this within a day? Were you in touch with the lawyers? Did you read about it somewhere? What happened?
No, I hadn't read about it anywhere. I don't think it was out by then, because the story was out on 23rd. We went there on 22nd itself. I actually got the story by chance. So there's a group of lawyers I'm in touch with for the Hathras case that we've been reporting on. And I'd called for an update because there had been a hearing in Allahabad High Court and in the special court in Hathras regarding the gang rape. And when I called one of them, the lawyers who work on that team was actually on the way to the Mitra Trust because this had happened, and he sort of just explained it to me in panic that this is what had happened. So can I call you back for the Hathras story? And I said, what is this particular case about? And then he sent me the Facebook link where Rudrani from the hospital was talking about what happened. And I asked him if there had been any media coverage, and he said no. So Jude and I immediately left to do the story.
Now, two things I'm curious about is there are serious allegations of assault by policemen. One, what you spoke to the police? What was their view? Did they deny? Did they say they'd punish someone? And second, what happened to Aditya? He was taken away by them. Where is he now?
So to answer the first question, so right after we finished speaking to people at the Mitra Trust, Jude and I went to the police station, which is 2-minute walk away. And we met the SHO Satish Chandra, who as soon as we walked in, we didn't even say anything. And he said, I have nothing to say to you. And I said, about what? And then he said, is this the transgender story? And I said, yes. But I mean, I hadn't introduced myself. I didn't say anything.
Did he refer to them as transgender? How did he refer to them?
Jude, do you remember what he said? He said transgender, right? Yeah, because he said transgender.
Interesting. But when the assault took place, I remember one of the people from the trust tell you that a lot of pejoratives were used.
Yeah, a lot. And I don't want to say it in this, but there's the video which you can go and watch where they actually describe what was told to them. So he just refused to comment, and he said, you speak to the DCP. But we stepped out of the station, and there's always that one policeman who wants to talk. So there was someone who was standing around, and I said, I asked him, the main confusion was which police station had sent their personnel to the Mitra Trust, because when we spoke to the people at the shelter home, they also said that at night itself, when they went to Dabri police station, the police officers there said that it was not them who went to allegedly pick up Aditya. So it was to first confirm whether the police were from here. So when I asked this constable who was standing, he said, one of us had gone or something like that. And then he said it was the Badalpur police from UP who had come, and they sought assistance from us.
I see.
And I asked him if he can show me the registry where the police had entered. So any police station, if a different jurisdiction's police come, they have to make an entry in the register. So then he very surprisingly, he opened the register and showed me that at 11:40 46 Badalpur police has come and these are the people who are here.
Amazing.
And he allowed me to take the number from the
Wow.
registry.
How nice.
Although
There's
he
always
didn't
one
pick
guy
up.
who helps you out.
There's always one person
Yeah.
who's very sweet.
Yeah.
And he also, Jude was taking pictures and then he said, you take picture without the car number, which is
Right.
very, very sweet of him, I must say. But that gave us the confirmation that, of course, Dabri police was involved and assisted Badalpur police in this whole event. And
Right.
second part of your question, we still don't know where exactly Aditya is. I haven't spoken to them in the last 1 or 2 days, but last I spoke to them 3 days ago, there was no idea of where Aditya is.
Right. And the officially police, of course, told you that it's the people from the trust, the transgender people who caused a ruckus at the police station, and they used to quote them minimal force to disperse them.
Yeah.
And that sounds like a very boilerplate response.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's how they respond to these issues anyway.
Yeah.
And they kind of said that we are very sensitized and aware of dealing with transgender people, so we used minimal force, and this is a false allegation.
Right. Shiv, I'm curious, you've covered your own stories. Have you ever had such interactions with the police where you went to a police station to report on them, or someone there helped you out, or a story, or was not so cooperative? Anything that comes to mind?
I haven't done many stories which involved police. But for me, it's very hard to find even one person who will be able to help me out.
Yeah.
Nidhi is very fortunate in this regard.
Yeah.
Because I understand that the police, they deal with a lot of people, okay? So in that way, they are very shrewd.
Right.
Unlike maybe bureaucrats, for example.
Right.
So I think when there was this protest, at UP Bhavan, the protest was about
Could have been Hathras.
not Hathras.
Huh?
Then there was this protest at Jantar Mantar also, same day.
I think that's Hathras.
Hathras, Sushant Singh and Hathras.
Yeah, because at UP Bhavan, most people were detained.
Yeah.
At Jantar Mantar, it happened smoothly.
And there was simultaneous, one for
Yeah.
Sushant Singh Rajput and one for
Yeah.
No,
Hathras.
that the house was demolished of Jamia researcher, right?
I see.
What's her name?
Afreen.
Yeah.
Huh.
Right.
So against that there was protest. Okay. So like one of the top officials, so he was there. So I was asking like when are they going to when the protesters will come here, and I was talking about the bandobast and everything. So that policeman, he didn't want to talk to me.
Right.
And I said, he said, this protest is nothing. No, why are you waiting here? There's so many media people here. You should go back to your places. It's a small protest, or even if it happens,
Right.
you see the bandobast. Nobody is gonna arrive here. So we waited for another hour. Again, I went back to him, do you have any intelligence input, where they're coming from? If we can go to the intersection, that nearby intersection, or maybe some other place. Then he took out his phone. He showed me a message. The message was, I think, it was sent by one of the student groups,
Right.
saying that we don't want to participate in this protest or in this march, and we are backing out. So he see, this is the message,
Right.
and there is no point waiting here.
Right.
You should go back to now Jantar Mantar, because now these DU and JNU students, they are protesting at Jantar Mantar.
Right.
Should go there. So that then I checked with some of the people at Jamia, is this true or not?
Right.
And they said no, this is one of the smallest groups, right? They have written that they don't want to take part in the protest, and I mean, just to avoid anything with the police or any detention.
Right.
So police, I'm saying that way they're very shrewd. They know what they want to leak, what they don't want to leak.
Yeah. That's
You've
true.
had a
But
lot
the
of
information that
interaction.
you require, they might not be willing to share with you.
Yeah. I've had one of
That's
those.
the recent example, but yeah.
No, it matches
Like,
with
it's like-
mine, because I've been to police stations in, say, mostly in UP or Delhi, where they refuse to meet you or even talk to you, and you always end up writing decline to comment. But I once went to Noo, which is a small town in Mewat, and it was also a matter of, it was caste, like a caste-based sexual assault case. And I reached the police station, the SHO made me sit, gave me chai, he gave me a whole written brief of the case, the FIR copy, everything. And on other times you go to police station, you ask for FIR, they're like, no, we can't give you anything. So it can be, I think that former is better, of course, for us as journalists, but also because sometimes it's in the interest of the police to get all the information out. But of course, given that they haven't done something shady. So are you pursuing this lead where Aditya is?
Depends. I mean, I'm trying to figure it out, but of course, Padalpur is quite a distance from here. And we'll have to see, if he's at a stage where he's willing to speak to the media, what kind of condition is he and where is he. But yeah, I'm hoping to keep track of it.
Right. To the end of your story, towards the end of your story, you spoke to people at the trust about the kind of impact it has on them. Even those incidents, because as you said, Aditya was someone who was from Bihar. He was at the railway station and he alleged that his family kept him in house arrest, and he found a safe space at the trust. And a lot of other members also told you that on camera. With incidents like these, the state can walk into your bedroom at 12 at night and take you away and then assault you. How does it impact them? So viewers, you can find Nidhi's answer to my question in the audio part of this podcast, that is episode 230 of Reporters Without Orders, available on Newslaundry website or Spotify or Stitcher. And we'll also talk to Shiv about his very interesting story of the Delhi Gymkhana Club.
The subscription model is something that keeps Newslaundry afloat, but we need hundreds of thousands of people to completely transform the news ecosystem. So you pay for news, so it serves you. So click on the link with this video, subscribe to Newslaundry and pay to keep news free, और गर्व से कहो, मेरे खर्च पर आज़ाद है खबरें.